There's no, well, there is turning back if we had to. We could always go back, but we don't need to. We're good. All right, here we go. It starts in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to There Will Be Dungeons. Welcome back. It's good to be back, everybody. We had a week off for the holiday, and we're back. Some people have moved. Some people have stayed still, and even yet more have eaten a French fry in front of us just now. We hope you enjoy this show because we're really excited to be back. We have all kinds of cool stuff happen, but instead of talking too much, I'm going to throw it right to Kristen, who's going to give us a recap of last time on There Will Be Dungeons.
Last week on There Will Be Dungeons, 2 weeks ago on There Will Be Dungeons, darkness dawned. Varel's tenement tore through time and turf. Up was down, down was up. Eternity existed in the expanse of an eye, and single seconds sought semperenity. Finally finding footing, Varel woke to waste. He reclined on refuse, limbs languid, fatigue fathomable. He slept. Nash next a peeper on a pounder. He recognized his resting roomie now about to be ruminated by a rat. Desperate, he dared to dive, but limbs he lacked, managing a mighty, minute motion. He tried again. This time it took. Snapping a supernatural snare, Nash could now navigate, floating freely and fearing the feaster. Coming to, Varel named Nash Speckle, and the two trudged through the trashy trench. The rat returned, but refused resources unless they scoured scraps. Haltingly hungry, Varel agreed. Close by, they came across halflings harvesting familiar faces, Stanley and Hope. Varel and the rat slunk in shadows, shanking the shady workers one by one until only a lone lurker was left. Varel bargained with the being, the refuse where he was rousted for the corpses of his comrades. Now in possession of his posse, he and Speckle sped to the surface. Buildings beset them, perpetual passages. It was a city with neither start nor stump. It was hell. Still, no city or no city, Varel and Speckle forced forward and found feedback. They sat in Sigil, city of cities, where all magnitudes met and merged. Coin they would crave to call back their companions. To a tavern they took, Speckle waxing through winks, now flourished a finger and was known to be Nash. Inside, as the keep kept conversation, two curious creatures corralled, a kenku and a kobold. Now rejoin our heroes as they meet new members. Who are these mysterious marauders? Will they help the harrowed? And just where will Nash grow his gab? Stay tuned for today's adventure through the secrets and streets of Sigil.
Impeccable as always. Bo Schwartz, it is now in your court.
Right, we resume our campaign with Varel sitting at the bar, eating drake meat. He's sitting at the bar of the Soggy Feather. Next to him is the floating metal rock that is Speckle. And down below is a cart with the bodies of Hope and Stanley resting on them peacefully. On the other side of the bar is the barkeep, heavyset man named Bill, the bald head and little beady eyes, and a little goatee-ish beard. The Soggy Feather is also populated with a couple of dwarves who are sitting in the corner, drinking mead and deep in conversation with each other. Also sitting next to Varel is a hooded humanoid with feathers poking out from various parts from underneath the cloak. Directly behind Varel, sitting at a table, working on some sort of project that's unclear to the rest of the room, is a kobold. There's this din of subtle conversation. It's not densely packed in the Soggy Feather, so quiet descends on the room. A bit of awkwardness and tension, as if the people inside were waiting to see what happens next.
Is there a heart floating somewhere? Just checking.
Well, you're floating.
All right.
Behind Varel.
All right. Then I will not say anything.
Speckle, right?
Yeah, his buddy Speckle. But he knows it's me now, though.
He does.
Yeah.
All right. Friend nothing. You have been tasked with showing me around then.
The Kenku nods.
Right. Do we need more? I apparently need to become very rich.
The Kenku looks at the bartender who recommended nothing assist with this and kind of gives a shrug.
The barkeep shrugs back.
Kenku looks back at you. Another shrug.
Right. They were rather clear that there was to be no heroics in this town, yes?
Nod.
Bill, was it?
Yeah.
How does one become extremely rich?
If I knew that, you wouldn't be finding me here.
I see. Does anyone, and I'll turn around in the bar, anyone know how to become extremely rich? I have nothing, and a man named Nothing. I see.
There's silence throughout the bar. The dwarves look up towards you. There's a bit of an eye roll, and they get back to their conversation.
Oh, what about you, small one? Are you, and I'll bend down, rich? Perhaps?
The kobold will finish eating and look over. I'm rich. Rich. Little money. Not.
Right. Bill,
Yeah.
my friend is stuck inside of a heart. You have gifted me a man who cannot speak, and this one here doesn't understand me.
Yeah, maybe I overestimated our friend's capacity to communicate with you. I forgot that the Kenku are kind of miserable when it comes to speaking. The kobold, I don't know. Sometimes they're helpful. You seem to be somewhat of a man of nature. So I thought maybe you'd be able to communicate with more nature-like beings than, say me, a human.
Sure. I
Because you're a lizard.
understand.
I mean, no offense.
And beggars can't be choosers. I understand this. Well, I shall retire to my room then, and in the morn we shall reconvene for great deeds and profit.
Maybe that's a good idea. Take all the pressure off, and you don't have to solve everything today. You've got a few days, and your factorum will be here tomorrow.
Right, the Factorum,
Yeah.
who
yes.
is my...
So it's the Welcome Center, and this sort of operation was set up as a form of charity in service to good. That sometimes people come here not through their own volition, and they need aid. So likely it'll be a priest of some kind who comes to visit you and explain things as a form of charity. Get you started.
Perfect. A priest will do well. I have 2 friends in need of healing.
Right, yeah.
The kobold will finish eating, hawk up this little stone that then starts floating around its head. And in a chair next to it, you see it's got a shoe, a boat shoe, with a little baby kobold in it, that it then ties around its little safety pin shirt. And it puts on a little colander hat. And it grabs its weapon, which, as you look at it closely, it's clearly made of silverware and rubber bands. And there's a little knife loaded into it. So it's a little arrow, bow and arrow. Whatever. Oh, hold on. I can't think of the word right now.
Is it a crossbow made out
Yes,
of cutlery?
thank you. Yes, it's a crossbow made out of cutlery. Thank you. And so she grabs that and she walks up, pretty interested that you said the word healing. You are he. Squirts heal. Squirts can heal.
Oh, you are capable of such feats.
Sometimes. But we can go to priests. We can go to priests.
You can't. But you know someone who can.
Yes. Squirts know. Squirts seen dead come to life.
You have. Good. Because my friends on the slab there are
dead.
in disrepair.
Dead.
No, I've been told that they can come back.
They smell dead.
I've
But
been
we
told
can try.
that they will come back. But they are resting. But seriously.
We try.
Please do.
Follow Squirts. Squirts show you where to go. And
Oh.
then the kobold will start taking off out of the inn toward the closest church that Squirts would have been to.
Okay. And do you have any recollection of what that church might be? You're currently in the Merchants Guild. So do you think what would the kind of environment that Squirts would hang out in? Is it just very happy-go-lucky, or and your god?
Yeah. The god would have been a trickster god, something along the lines of Oldamara. But yeah, happy but dirty, happy but poor.
Okay, so you're gonna lead them outside of the Soggy Feather.
Yes.
Okay, Kobold gets up from the table and walks out of the bar.
I'm having fun picturing this new character.
Shall I meet you later, Nothing? Or would you like to come see the church of this creature?
Nothing stands up, and in a voice that is exactly the same, follow Squirts, and starts to walk out as well.
Excellent. Well, Nash, seems we will have company. Right. Excellent company. And I'll head to the door.
Okay, and you head to the door with the cart, right? Pushing the cart.
Yep, pushing the cart with Hope and Stanley on it.
Pushing the cart, and you exit back out into the busy streets. Again, there are throngs of people moving, on the right side towards the left, and this is a massive sea of people walking to and from. It's hard to even imagine why people would need to be walking in such density and in such a place. You have no idea what their business would be, but it's packed full of all kinds of races and sounds of conversation, the din of commerce. You can hear echo through the air, but it's not exactly where you are.
As soon as Follow gets out onto the streets, she would pull the cloak far over the head, hang the head low, and kind of fall in line behind everybody.
Okay. All right. So, Kristen, do you have a deity in mind for this?
I think I'll just go with Oldamara.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. So it will take several hours to walk in the direction of the last church that you've been to. I don't know if you want to mention that to the team or just go ahead and keep going.
Squirts will just keep walking, but just talk about everything. Squirts was made by a god. It was nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. You all weird. Who's the floating thing? Squirts will look at Varel.
This is Nash of the Solar Mines.
Oh,
And
Nash.
I'm sure he's pleased to meet you.
Yes. Squirts pleased to meet Nash. Squirts pleased to meet everybody. This is Chunks. And then Squirts will point to the baby on her back. Chunks sleeping, but Chunks not always sleep. Chunks talk a lot. Chunks talk a lot like Mom.
Congratulations on your brood.
Thank you. Thank you. Very strong. Really very strong.
Nothing. Do you have children?
No.
Ah. Well, good. How far are we going?
Oh, we go long time. You follow Squirts. Squirts take you.
Okay.
Now this big city. As you see buildings, lots of buildings, lots of gods, lots of angry people. Don't get angry. Don't get angry with people. When that happens, Squirts goes hides. Squirts likes to hide.
Right. I shall not rely on you in such situations.
And the conversation will just continue like that for hours, however long it takes.
Perfect. All right, so the conversation continues, and Varel, you notice that you begin walking out of this district that the building types change into more, instead of being like sort of brown rustic houses of a medieval era, the housing begins to change somewhat differently in that the houses become gray and appear to be made more of stone. And you continue walking through, and as you walk through this new district, you see that the men and women appear to be more fit and beautiful, just generally speaking. As you walk into this new district, you see that they're like fine specimens, examples of all kinds of their races. And you walk through this district as Squirts continues on to an area that begins to become, the buildings start to become sort of blackened and rusted, and wood begins sort of, looks like it's peeling off of buildings. And the streets are not clean. There's, garbage in there, but still very busy, large amounts of people. And then as you get to an intersection, there's a turn to the right, and Squirts, you know that this is where the church is. And as you look to the right, there isn't a single person on the road down this alley-like passage. And as you look down towards the end of the alley, you see a humble but broken cement building that looks like it's been kept in a state of disrepair. It doesn't have the majesty that you would think of a church. It looks like a long, broken building. But Squirts, this is indeed church that you've recently been to.
Church, we are here. Welcome. Big building. Lots of stuff. Nice people.
Squirts, are you going to shank me?
What? No, Chunks might vomit, but Squirt's not Shank.
Oh no.
Who's Trunks? Don't have to answer. You don't have to answer. I just.
No. In the conversation, Chunks is the baby.
Okay.
Right.
Chunks.
Well, Squirts and Chunks, I am in your able hands.
Well, come. We shall meet everybody.
Okay, so you make your way down the alleyway, and a tumbleweed blows by down the hall, down the alleyway from one side of the buildings to the other. As you get closer and closer, you notice that there are large, concrete doors at the front of this, with the carvings of faces that look maddening all throughout the front. From Squirts, you get to the front door, and you remember how to get in.
Yes, she makes a fart noise with her hands.
All right, and a moment of silence goes by, and then the door creaks open.
God thinks it's funny. You offer tribute with farts. And then leads them through.
Right.
Okay, you push your way through.
As nothing gets to the threshold, she looks around and goes, mimics the sound that was made with the hands perfectly, and then walks in.
All right. And so everyone makes their way in one by one, and inside looks a lot larger than it does from the outside. You see that stairs descend likely into the ground in order to give this room its wide-looking feel. But you see that there are pillars on either the left side and right side, and pews leading up to what looks to be some sort of a cathedral-like stage at the end. It's very dark in here, and there are candles dimly illuminating the room, but it's difficult to see. You do see that there's a human male, skinny, bald, but with the hair on just on the side, like as in a ring, as he holds the door and sort of closes the door behind you. He goes, "Hello, Squirts."
Yes, hello, hello. I bring friends. They need res.
Good. Please, make your way to the chamber.
And Squirts will lead them to the chamber.
Go on. Go on, he says to you, Varel, because you're making this. I don't know if Kyle's face is Varel's face, but I'm just interpreting it that way.
Kyle's face is Burrell's face. This is a very like, what the heck? All right.
All right. So, Squirts, you show the party through the main sort of aisle, right, towards the stage, and off to the right of the stage is another door where you can go through to gain access to the cleric of the church. So you open up the door and disappear behind it as the rest of the party continue into this room.
Yes, but I am always watching over my shoulder for that creepy door guy.
Okay. All right, he's gone. As you make your way into the room, you get into a small little sort of office. There's a door. There's a desk. There's a receptionist who's again wearing sort of a brown cloak. The hood is pulled back. The race of this thing is goblin, and he's got a ledger in front of him, and sort of an inkwell, and he's making scratches on a paper that you can see isn't really language. And he looks up and he goes, "And on he says, and so how many people here speak the goblin language? I know Varel does.
I think only Varel does. Well, I guess I don't know about the new ones.
Kobold might understand something in the vicinity
Yep,
of.
Squirts can speak goblin.
Yeah. So he says, "What want?"
What want? We want res.
"Want res."
Want res. Res for 2.
And then he opens up. There's a little can on the table. And he sort of brushes aside, and the can, it's got a string on it. And he goes, and it's saying something about people here to see. And then the can sort of vibrates back, and you hear. You guys can't understand what's being said, but he holds it up to his ear, and he goes, "You wait! And then he scratches something again in the ledger, but it's just making more chicken scratches on the paper. It doesn't really look like language at all. He points to the chair and he goes, "Sit chair! Be with one! We come
Okay.
soon."
Yes, chair. Who sit down?
Very good. I'll go sit down.
All right, so everyone sits down and sits in for a little wait.
Well, I float. I'll float next to Varel, but I ain't sitting anywhere.
Okay.
Is it a bench against a wall?
Yeah, it's like a couchy bench. It's comfortable.
Oh, okay, cool. I would like to make my friends comfortable. So I grab Hope and Stanley and set them up on the chair.
Like sitting upright?
Yeah. Well, they're just resting.
All right. They're both. You sit them up. You're able to sit them upright, but it's hard to keep their heads up. Their heads kind of
Lean their heads together so their weights lean on one another.
Okay, so now they're cuddling. That's awesome. Yeah, one thing you do happen to notice as you put them. This has been about 24 hours, maybe, if you estimated your time unconscious in the sewer, the time it took you to get there, and the time moving around the city. You notice that for corpses, there's a distinct lack of smell. You would expect them. There is a smell, but you would expect it to be way worse than it is. Something is wrong with the scent of the 2 corpses.
I'll lean over to Nothing and give him a little shoulder tap and see. Just resting. Smell
Nothing.
that?
Will kind of look over at the corpses, look at Varel, and then just nod.
Just resting. Just resting, Nash. Very tired.
All right. And as this conversation takes place, you hear the can sort of vibrate again, and the goblin picks it up, puts it to his ear, and he goes, and he gets out of the chair, and he goes to the door, and he opens it slightly. He says, Matt, not Matt, which is goblin for you can enter now. Enter, hurry, enter.
Yes, yes, come. Bring resting friends. No need res.
I'll load up my resting friends on their floating bed.
Okay. Puts the friends back, and you guys make your way deeper into this cathedral, into the next room. And in this next room is a rather large study. You see there are bookshelves line all of the walls, but the books don't look ornate or particularly worth something. They look like really old, worn, waterlogged kind of books just from circling the room. And in the center is two benches. And this isn't a comfy couch bench. It's two benches. And on one of the benches, you see there's a humanoid, feathered, but not looking like nothing. It's a different kind of a bird person. And he's sitting there with a book in one hand, sort of stretched out on the bench reading. And he looks up to you and he says, Yes, you've been expected. Yes.
Have I?
I believe so.
Oh, excellent. My coming was foretold then.
Come, child. Squirts.
Yes.
Squirts.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Sports do good.
Come where I can see you.
Yes. And Squirts will walk over.
So who is it among you that needs my assistance? And the bird's eye sort of looks to the side, and you see his eye just go rent.
No shy. Tall one. Two friends. Resting. Need res.
Blinks towards you again. He says, You've come to me to request that your friends no longer rest?
Yes, they tumbled through the cosmos after heroic deeds of great, and I believe them to still be present, just in need of aid.
Okay, and then the bird person sort of looks, squawks, goes, and then brings up a feathery hand and says, Bring your friends.
I'll grab Stanley first, and throw his arm over my shoulder and walk him towards the cleric.
And he sort of gets up, pulls up his cloak, puts foot on either side, then he looks towards nothing and blinks. And then he looks back down at the corpse, and he takes his feathery claw fingers on Stanley's mouth and opens it up and puts his eye inside his mouth. Dead, this one is. It's dead.
No. He's well. He is unconscious.
Chunks, please. Please be quiet.
He is in need of help. Yes, he has not shat himself. You will see. The dead shit themselves, if you'll excuse me, in your church, and he does not smell of such things.
Okay, persuasion roll, please.
A 11.
Okay. You speak true. You speak true. You speak true. And he sort of lifts up Stanley's legs and looks underneath at his bum. He goes, there's no shit in the bum. Puts the legs back down.
I nod aggressively.
He puts his hands on Stanley's chest and one on his abdomen, as if sort of. And you said they died in the. How did they die?
Saving the world. Massive lasers. Fighting a dragon.
Did they die in Sigil? Or did they die where you're from?
Maybe? That I'm unsure. I awoke here with my friend here. My friend Nash, who was floating beside me.
He looks and he goes, he picks up the can that's attached to one of the benches and he goes, Susu, bring me my crystal. And then you hear the door slam open, boo! And Susu comes forward with a crystal sort of like helmet kind of thing. It looks like a helmet with a crystal sort of attached out with a string. The crystal hangs out. He gives it to the priest, and the priest rolls back his hood, and you see a large birdman's face. He puts the helmet on his head with the crystal hanging off, and then he stares at Stanley's corpse through the crystal. So you see, this is not the corpse of your friend. This is not the corpse of your friend at all. Not at all. Not at all.
How do you mean?
This is what they call a petitioner. It is still your friend, but it is the personification of the soul of your friend.
Oh, so it's a unwrapped candy?
Do you have a god that you serve, lizard man?
I respect Fushi's strength and follow his way, yes.
And what is Fushi? What is Fushi? What is
Fushi is a dragon of fire.
So perhaps if you serve your Fushi well enough, one day you will become his petitioner, and he will decide what to do with you. He may make you into fire itself, and you will burn in his realm as fire itself. That will be your task for your soul in the afterlife. Of course, your soul has to make it to Fushi's realm. If it does not make it, it becomes stuck. Now looking here, I see, yes, this is a petitioner. Destined for. And he stops and his eyes go, who sent you?
Squirts.
No,
Looks to
Squirts
Squirts.
bring you. Squirts not send you.
What deceit do you bring to me today? You brought them here to overthrow me. I see through your tricks. He gets really tense. His hand slowly reaches down.
Perhaps we should de-escalate. Do you have any questions for me?
Why did you bring them, Squirts?
What? No, they need res. They needed res.
I see through your lies. You bring tricks. You deceive me. They're here to overthrow me. You want this church for yourself.
Squirts have chunks. Squirts no need church.
Okay. Are you lying or telling the truth?
Telling the truth. Squirts has no want for a church.
Then I need a persuasion roll, please.
Okay, looks like it's going to be a 24.
Oh, wow. priest slows up. I believe you for now. But why did you bring them if not to overthrow me? What you've brought here is very dangerous.
What? Squirts just bring people. They burks off street.
He takes
How
off
dangerous.
the helmet and he says, come here, Squirts.
Oh, yes. And then
He-
Squirts will.
Then he fits
Scurry
the
over.
helmet over top of your head. And then the crystal dangles in between your eyes, and then it sort of makes your vision see into the ethereal realm. You kind of see that the world is blue and gray and sort of like being underwater, and everything's around you. And then he points to the corpse, and you see on the corpse of Stanley, there's like sort of like some sort of dog tag information scrawled on his neck. Look at the neck.
Oh, yes. Let's see. What say Nick?
And it's the text is mostly written in Infernal. Do you read Infernal?
I've got Common, Draconic, and Goblin.
Okay. It's mostly written in Infernal. However, there are glyphs that you do recognize that say the Weir.
Oh! You have bad friends, Varel. Very bad.
Well, yes,
They deal with demons.
they do.
Not just
But they're
any
heroes
demons.
nonetheless.
Demons.
These are not just any demons. We have demons from the hells and demons from the grey wastes. We have demons from the abyss. But the Weir is from a place much farther than any of the outer planes. It is a place from the far realm, a place of grave danger.
Very true.
We should burn these corpses.
Now,
Yes. Burn
No,
the
Squirts.
corpses. Squirts will start running off with the little thing dangling. The helmet's still on. The crystals.
Yeah, that's fine.
now hold on.
What?
These heroes just saved their, you call them planes, their plane. They deserve at the very least a chance to prove themselves in this new world.
Why are they being petitioned to the Weir?
Well, they agreed to enter a demon's services.
I cannot resurrect these people for you.
Well, now, I am their keeper. I am to make sure that they stay in line and do not fall to evil. Look upon me. See my radiant form, my many muscles. Do these biceps look to be used for evil?
Squirts will look at Varel through the crystal.
Yes, and then the bird will nod and look at you and says, "You must submit yourself for examination by Squirts."
Very well. I will undergo your trial, Squirts, and I will succeed.
All right, lizard man, kneel before Squirts.
I kneel before Squirts.
And then Squirts will basically look over all of Varel with the crystal helmet thing and looking for any kind of infernal.
You see, you don't see anything, but you do see draconic glyphs where you would find this information near his neck.
Oh, yes, this draconic, not evil, what say the draconic? And Squirts will read the draconic.
No, since you can't read it, you're not sure, but do you read out what the glyphs are, perhaps, to Varel?
Oh, I can speak draconic.
Oh, you can. Perfect. So the draconic written into his soul speaks that he's committed to Fushi, and that he may one day become petitioner to Fushi.
Oh,
But-
Fushi, he tells truth. He tells truth. No, we're only Fushi.
Then why do you protect? The bird pulls back his hood and he looks at you and he comes closer. He puts his face into your face, not threateningly, but with an intensity. And he goes, "Why do you protect?" And then he turns his head, so all you can see is his eye, and it blinks. Why do you protect?
These two. They are heroes. Their goals aligned with a demon, and they saw it fit to share its power. I did not. I thought the deal foolish. And I believe, by the look on their faces, that they regret their decision.
I cannot undo what they have done to themselves. Even if I were to bring them back, yes. Cannot undo.
I am not asking for that. I'm asking for their safe return to their bodies.
And so the bird-like priest puts his hands behind his back, and he walks up to the wall of books as though they were a window, with his back to you, and he says, Perhaps we can do something.
I've heard that
we can
perhaps
do something."
before.
It is not a simple thing to return a petitioner back to life, let alone two. Yes? Right, Squirts? Yes?
Yep. Yes, Squirts. It's too many. Too many.
It comes at the cost.
I have been told to become very rich.
Not all powers value money. Mm-hmm. Yes. You have come to our church. Our church? Yes, yes. Laughs. We obey the trickster gods. We would much rather hear the thunderous laughter of the entire cosmos at the humiliation of one than all the gold in the world.
So you wish me to, how the humans say, prank someone?
I have been working on a particular humiliation.
I see.
This humiliation would please my god.
What does it entail?
The answers have not yet come to me, but I await that vision. But what is clear is that it must be done in front of all of this person's peers and all of this person's subjects. He must be a great person. We must humiliate them. Can I count on you to help me with this?
I will require more information, but you're waiting a call, I've heard, and when you receive your message, Squirts can fetch me.
Yes, I wish I knew more in this moment, but I do not. I did not. In fact, your very arrival may be his doing. I don't think it's a coincidence that we met. Squirts, do you feel it?
Squirts feels many things.
Do you feel the
Yes.
humiliation coming?
Yes.
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 Well, what say you, Pharrell? I will require some materials which I can collect in order to attempt a resurrection ritual on your friends. But I will need your assistance before I can do so.
Well, Nash, what do you think of this situation? Yes.
I don't trust it.
Me neither.
I love that you understood that.
All right. We'll play your game. I will lend my strength to your cause of humiliation. When do we get started?
I will contact you when I find out more. Find out more, yes, about who it is we are to humiliate. For now, you can keep your friends here in our crypts. They will be safe. They will be safe. The crypts below are filled with false passages and protections that will keep even the cleverest from finding what they need to find.
I guess they'd be safer here than locked in my room.
I will say this about your friends, the petitioners to the weir. They are quite valuable to those of less scruples. Yes, less scruples, who would want gold more than anything else, who value gold above honor. They'll take them, sell them. We do not value gold here. We value justice, cosmic justice.
Well, that doesn't seem like something you can get in a store.
No, I suppose you cannot. He is a funny one, Squirts. Funny, yes, funny.
Sports likes funny.
And there's this sort of creepy way that this bird is laughing with his shoulders going.
Yes. Well. Are we done laughing?
I believe so, yes, I believe so.
Well,
Now, as we enter into this compact, I should tell you my name. Tell you my name. I am Kidigri. And you are?
Varel Rasfim Kurik, and this ball here is Nash Maggard of the Solar Mines. With our trusted guide, nothing.
It's nothing.
Nothing nods.
Are you a follower? He says to you quietly.
No.
Too bad. Too bad. Perhaps you will come again one day and we can discuss cosmic justice. Very well.
Nothing leans in, and in the priest's own voice, values gold. Then puts out a hand and makes a perfect sound of gold clinking into it, and then points to herself.
He looks at you and he says, "Ah, I see you." And then he picks up his little tin cup and he goes, "Susu, come and take our friends petitioners to a safe location." And the door slams open again. Boom! He just unnecessarily opens it way more intensely than it needs to. He goes, "Ah! And he walks up to you, Varel, and he motions for you to hand him the push cart.
I lower Stanley onto it and step out of the way. Now, not too deep. Or if they go too deep, they will be accessed.
I think I understand your meaning. Deep doesn't have the same meaning in Sigil as it does in other places of the universe.
Right.
Down is not always down. Up is not always up.
Okay. Thank you.
Go on, Susu. And Susu pushes the cart outside to a door that's sort of to the back and exits from view. I will have something for you. I will have something for you as soon as I know. Where are you staying? How can I reach you?
We're at the... What was it, Nash? The Dusty Feather?
Yes, I think so.
We
The
both
Dusty
believe it
Feather.
was the Dusty Feather.
Ha 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 ha! They trick you. They trick you. This is not Soggy Feather. Squirts remembers.
Soggy Feather. Yes, thank you, Squirts.
Good joke. Good joke. Good start.
You have much to learn about tricks, Pharrell. That was a very bad one.
Oh,
Well done, Squirts, for spotting it out. You can't trick a trickster, Pharrell.
it was never my intention.
Okay. Well, now leave me to it. I must meditate on our plans. On our plans, yes. Any motions for you to leave?
All right.
Okay. So with that, Varel, Nash, Squirts, and Nothing make their way back into the main sort of prayer auditorium. What do they call that place? The church part of the church.
The
As they
chapel,
exit his room.
right?
The chapel part of the
sure.
church. Sure, why not?
Why not?
It's dimly lit, and then the guy in the front door sort of walks up and looks to you and says, "Hey there, Squirts.
Hey, hey. How it go?
Same thing day in, day out. Haven't had a good laugh in a while. What about you? Have you gotten into anything funny?"
Oh, Squirts laugh all the time. Squirts try to res demon bodies.
Oh, and how did that go? Hope they
We
weren't.
not try it yet, but we will.
I hope they aren't too angry when they wake up.
Oh, you should come. You should come. It will be fun.
What do demon bodies eat for breakfast?
Helios.
Helios. He chuckles. That's great being a trickster priest, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Now we go. Come, friends.
Yes. Try not to take any wooden gold pieces.
Good advice. Thank you.
That makes more sense.
The priest laughs as you say that. He goes,
We need the gold keep me wood, and the wood keep me gold. Let's go.
all right, you make your way back out into the alleyway. And as you step out of the alleyway, you walk towards the end of the alley and get back to sort of a main road where there's people walking. And as you turn around to look back at the chapel, with the instinct perhaps to lock it into your memory, remember how you got here, you notice that the road is gone and there's just houses filled in.
All right. Moving on. Squirts, I assume that experience existed because you are still here, and I did not imagine it.
What? Yes, yes. All existence.
Good. Nothing. You can confirm it as well. We were just in a building that was right there.
Yes, yes.
Well, is the way back still in existence, Squirts?
Yes, the way back always exists.
Please lead the way.
Squirts will start walking.
Yep, and so a few hours goes by and it becomes nightfall. And Varel, the most amazing thing happens at night in this place, in that when you look up, you can see chimneys from the ceiling houses billow in, smoke from, and you see all the lights from the different windows. It's like it almost forms its own constellation of stars, except instead of stars, it's like windows of various houses and buildings lighting up the sky above. 2 hours goes by, and you make your way back to the Soggy Feather. Just outside of the door of the Soggy Feather, there's a dwarf. One of the dwarfs that you saw, he's puking just in one of the troughs outside. He's going, bleh, bleh. As he spits, he's puking by the door of the Soggy Feather.
Oof.
Flavorful.
Are you going into the building?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys make your way back into the building. Bill's there, cleaning the dishes. There's a couple more people in here. You see that there's a few more humanoids. Place is packed up a little bit now. A few more dwarves. Seems mainly populated by humans and dwarves for the most part. However, you do notice in one corner there's a sort of a hairy ball that's brown. It's got a big eyeball in it and wings and two little arms, kind of floating and putting a drink up to its mouth and drinking, and it looks very unusual and non-humanoid.
I will beeline to the bar front.
Yeah. Hey, you're back.
Yes.
You've gone quite a while.
The church was a long ways away and then ceased to exist upon exit.
Okay, that doesn't sound that strange. It might sound a little strange to you, but it's a weird place. You get used to it.
Right.
Well, did you have a great trip? Did you learn anything?
I learned much about things of trickster nature, and that nothing is as it seems, and I should accept whatever weirdness happens next.
That's probably a good idea for now until you get the lay of the land.
So, in the spirit of such a revelation, I would like to go to bed.
Very good. He reaches down, looks underneath, and he gives you the keys to your room. He's like, "Yeah, you can take the executive suite on the top floor. We don't have many people booked to stay at the inn tonight, so enjoy yourself.
Oh,
Have a nice sleep on the bed up there."
I would assume that that word means nice things. Thank you.
Yes, executive. The words were in the merchant quarter. Merchants love things called executive and presidential and, stuff like that. I don't really know what it means, but it sells well. At least that's what I'm told. I don't really sell that much of my.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Have a good night.
I'll start heading upstairs and then turn around to see if Nothing and Squirts are following me, as well as Nash.
Nothing walks up to the barkeep who put her on this path and goes, "Show him around," and then holds out her hand expectantly.
To the barkeep?
Yeah.
Okay. He flips a gold coin into your paw.
She tucks it back and then nods upstairs after Varel. "Show him around." And then kind of gives another nod, like, continue to do so.
Probably be a good idea if you did.
She nods again and follows Varel upstairs.
All right. And Squirts, what are you doing?
Yes, Squirts, come too. Squirts, not take up much room. Squirts, sleep in corner. Just give trash. Sleep on trash.
All right. So, Varel, you make your way up to the room. You notice that it won't just be you and Speckle / Dash in there tonight.
You have earned a good stay. We appreciate your aid, and you are welcome to stay in my executive suite.
All right. You open up the door and swing it open, and you see that it's a very large room up here on the 3rd floor. There's 2 beds, and there's a fireplace, and there appears to be a kitchen area where you could, there isn't really any stoves or anything like that, but there's countertops and there's some cutlery in there, and there's a water pump in the room, directly right up in the room. Pretty sweet.
Oh. Well. Where I'm from, the water pump is rare, and usually has some sort of crystal mechanism that people want to steal. Let's hope we don't get embroiled in that, huh? Come in.
Yes. Squirts broils food. Sometimes.
Right. Perfect.
I like that Varel's now the most civilized out of all the players. Everyone else is so weird compared to
Like a
Varel.
bizarro world.
I will float in behind Varel.
All right.
And I'll
Is there a
sit. I'm going to
bed?
set myself
There are 2
down on a
beds.
surface. There's 2
They're
beds.
2 fairly large beds. It's a very spacious room.
Is there a table?
There is.
I'm going to lay down on a table. My heart will hover down to the table and then just lay on its side of the table.
Okay. Perfect.
Is there a trash can?
There is a waste bucket.
Ooh.
Okay, Squirts will knock it over and then crawl inside of it with chunks.
It's 2 perfectly large, serviceable beds, and you're crawling into the garbage.
It's only 2.2.
That's the nature of
Feet
your.
tall?
It's the nature of your creature. It's all good. I just think it's a funny scene.
Follow will drag a chair over near the fireplace, kind of remove the cloak, remove the mask that she wears, hang it from the chair, kind of goes through a ritual of taking off some of the equipment and armor and setting it aside, but then pulls out a sword with a eye emblazoned on the hilt, and then as she sits in the chair, stabs it into the floor in front of her, and then just rests her head and eyes closed.
So, no one uses a bed.
Oh, yeah.
Hobos dig tunnels. Tunnels we sleep in. You hear from the wastebasket.
Nash, would you prefer a bed?
Yep. And I'll float over there. I'll float over there, get under the blanket, and lay there. Just lay there.
I'll tuck him in and climb under the bed that he's sleeping in.
Oh yeah, because you're not gonna be in the bed either.
So no one's using another bed. Oh.
All right, you climb under the bed, and after a short amount of time, your body's still exhausted from the journeys of the day before. You fall asleep fairly quickly. Everyone, check off benefit from the long rest. Nash, I'm giving you 2 regrowth points.
Okay.
So you can use those points now or lose them to regrow 2 things at my discretion.
At your
So-
discretion. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
So what do you want to regrow?
Well, if it's your discretion, does it matter if I just take the 2 points and then you tell me what grows, or do I get to ask you for things?
I want to know what you want, basically. So
I
tell
want-
me.
I want one normal hand, like a Nash hand,
Uh-huh.
and I want the baby hand. So the 2 things I want are my little neck baby hand, and my other hand.
Do you
So-
want to? No, I'm just gonna say, do you want a mouth? It's on the list.
Oh no, that's right. I want to talk. So take back the baby hand. I want a regular hand and a mouth. I just need something to be able to interact with things. So a hand and a mouth.
All right.
Yeah.
I accept those choices.
Okay.
All right.
All
So when we come back from the break,
Uh huh.
you'll have regrown some new limbs. But
That-
for now, we're gonna take 10 and take a little break.
That's an
That's
excellent
how we do it.
idea. All right, everybody listening, don't go anywhere, or do, but we'll be back in 10 minutes to continue our adventure. Stay with us.